Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm just going to give you guys some time to come in. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Please hit that like button. I will just run the countdown for just a minute. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon, depending on where you guys are at. Good evening, Tommy. Hope you're good. Please hit that like button as you come in. Please hit that like button as you come in. Hold on. LaDawn, hey girl, hey. How are you? Please hit that like button. Thank you very much for joining. What Andy said, I can't wait to hear this, sis. Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. It is crazy. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So today I wanted to share a few things. One, Andy is finally speaking up about Wendy. I do also want to talk about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, just a little bit. I do also want to talk about how people on social media are now dragging Andy because of Stacey. So I will talk to you guys about that and show you guys some receipts on that. And some other Potomac news. So make sure you watch until the end, hang out with us. We're probably going to be here for a while, so please get your drink, get your wine. I have just water. I have had my tea, but yeah, so it's just water now for me. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, where do we start from? All right, let's start with the light stuff first. Let's start with the light stuff first. I want to get into Ashley Derby for a second. And so I don't know if you guys know, but Ashley had a lot to say about Wendy and Eddie. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'll share my screen and then we can sort of talk about it and just like address it. Like I said, I'm going to have to, like I always say, rather, I'm going to have to keep pausing in between just because, I'm trying to make sure I don't get copyright strikes. So I'm going to need to be pausing where I can. All right. So let's start with Ashley. Okay. So, to give some context, people are trying to figure out how is Ashley feeling about this whole Wendy saga. I know we covered it. We're all very shocked. We didn't even know what to do with ourselves, so we're not going to get into that. But this is what Ashley's reaction was. And I know there's a lot of background, but I want you guys to really try and pay attention where you can. Did you hear that? This is not really news to us. Okay? This is not really news to us. Then when. No! Okay? We were not shocked. Yeah. And then you hear someone shout, "We were not shocked." And then she's basically sort of like on the side of the person that said we were not shocked, basically. That's what it's given, right?
Lord have mercy. I know. I'm keeping her in my prayers. Well, she's a professor. All right.
And I'm just like, okay, so you're keeping her in your prayers, but that is the energy you have. You're like, this ain't news to us. So now it's almost like you're giving credence to the allegations. And I'm just like, this is your castmate. This is your castmate. Like, I don't care if you don't like her. Yes, I don't care for Ashley either. And the thing is, even if you don't care for Wendy, right? For you to be out here saying, like, oh, yeah, we all knew this. Like, these people have been out here just scamming in these streets. And I'm just like, even if they are, do you need to be the one that is out here saying that publicly on this platform, knowing fully well that anything, all of this information could be taken to be added to like the whole, okay, they've been doing this before. Oh, you know, um, yes, it may not hold a lot of weight, granted, but still, like, why are you playing into this narrative? If you have nothing nice to say, this is someone's life at the end of the day. Children are involved. If you have nothing nice to say, just keep quiet. You don't need to talk. But Ashley. Ashley is going to use every opportunity to address something, to talk about something, to turn it into something that has nothing to do with her.
All right, I love y'all. Have a good night. Felonies, if you know what I mean.
Then she says, we're making melodies, not catching felonies. I'm like, honey, when have you ever made melodies? Your singing is terrible. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at the hustle. Hustle however you want. But saying that you're making melodies, honey, you ain't making no melodies. Part of what you're doing, you're even giving felonies, honey, because the melodies are not adding up. Okay. So I'm absolutely not, yeah, I absolutely hate that Ashley went that route. I just think like there's no need for all this. We're making melodies, not catching felonies. It has a nice ring to it, but still, girl, it's like you're basically laughing in the face of your castmate who is going through it. And I really hope you have no skeletons in your closet. I really hope you don't, because the way Ashley has laughed at people, called people out for all of the things that they are dealing with, have gone through, she better have no skeletons in that closet. She really better have no skeletons, because, yeah, definitely agree with you. It's given really, Ashley, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Ashley is giving silent hater. I absolutely agree. I just think like it doesn't make any sense. Like, why? Was that really necessary? Like, it's okay if you don't like Ashley, you don't like Wendy, that's fine. You don't have to like Wendy. But she is going through something. I know we all talked about, yes, the allegations are like crazy. Sounds like she's probably going to go to jail or get some sort of sentence. I hope that she doesn't go to jail and she's able to get out of it. Um, of course, be held accountable if you're guilty to some extent, but I really hope they both don't have to go to jail, especially they have children, right? So, and I think that is such a stupid thing to do after everything they've done. But I would never be out here being like, "Ooh, we're making melodies." Like, I just think it's too much. Yep. Absolutely. Probably fishing for a storyline. Absolutely agree. I feel like a lot of people always say like, what does Ashley actually bring to the show? And if you think about it, Ashley doesn't necessarily have her own storyline. She doesn't have anything going on for herself as such. Her storyline is other people's storylines. She gets to talk about other people. That is what her storyline has always been, or at least for, in recent times, that's what it has always, or that's what it has been. So I'm sure the next season will be exactly that. It is a shame that Wendy and Eddie really put themselves in this position. It's absolutely very sad, but what can we do? We're here now. What can we do? So that is what Wendy had to say. Let's see what the chat or what the comments have to say. While she makes jokes like this, life has a funny way of turning tables. Absolutely. That is exactly what I say when I say sometimes I really hope she doesn't have any skeletons in that closet, because anything in there will come out. Jamie, that's me, says the gag is that you're barely making melodies though. Okay? No melodies. With friends like this, who needs enemies? Okay, Campire? Absolutely agree. Ashley's just happy for this future storyline because Lord knows every season she's scrapping at the bottom of the tank, trying to stay relevant and employed. She has absolutely nothing to say or show for herself. So every season, she just piggybacks on someone else's downfall or drama. A one trick pony at its finest. Mmm, that person clocked it. It's just exactly what I was saying. I feel like she has no storyline going on, so everybody's story is her storyline, and that is her lane. I think her and Giselle do this quite well, but I think Giselle seems to have a little bit of. We'll see how Giselle handles Wendy in the next season, but I feel like Giselle had a little bit more grace for Karen, um, and Giselle seems to have a little bit more grace for Stacey, whilst Ashley just went to hell with Stacey. So I don't know. Ashley's definitely she's leaning very much leaning into her villain era. I will say that. It's almost like she knows people don't like her. She knows she's the villain in everyone's story. And she's just like, I'm tired of acting like I'm not the villain. Let me just accept that I'm the villain. And so I'm like, all right, girl, like she is definitely in her villain bag and she is riding it. All right. Okay. Hi Linnell. Hope you're good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit that like button. All right, let's get into it. All right, so let's move on from Ashley's mess. Let's move on to this because this really annoyed me. And initially it wasn't even on the bingo cards or anything for me to talk about, but it really annoyed me that this happened. Do you guys remember this girl, Neka? She was the girl that came on one of the previous seasons, and her and Wendy got into it. She was meant to be the other Nigerian girl on the show. And then she started talking about all these crazy ish about like she was talking about how Wendy was from a particular tribe and they didn't, she was saying all these things to make it seem like Wendy was an outcast. And as somebody who is Nigerian, I absolutely detested that because I was just like, it's not acceptable for you to be talking about whether somebody is an outcast or not. How do you know? Don't bring that kind of mess onto Real Housewives of Potomac. It just got into this weird, controversial, oh, is Wendy's mama a witch and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what are we doing? Why are we bringing this nonsense to the show? And so I'll be completely honest when I say I'm one of the people who were happy to see Nneka leave, right? I had nothing against the girl particularly. I just didn't like how she was playing into a lot of the stereotypes and bringing that onto the Real Housewives of Potomac. I know some of you all may disagree, but I just felt like it was just entirely too much, and it sort of felt like they were trying to make it seem like, oh, the culture were against Wendy and all of that craziness. So I personally did not like that. Um, so yeah. Anyways, this is Ineka's comment section. Do you know how crazy this has to be? This is Ineka's comment section. People are comfortable enough to be saying this under her comment section, right? Which gives me the impression these people know her personally, right? Because if you look at it, Sweet Cookie 100 and all her jewelry is accounted for, my boo. So that's given somebody that directly knows her. Because why are you here saying, oh, and all her jewelry is accounted for? Like, girl, what are you doing? And it's so sad how people feel so comfortable laughing and taking so much joy in people going through stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not painting Wendy and Eddie to be victims. They're not. But my point is like, see how these people are out here jumping in her comment section, talking about all her jewelry is accounted for. Like, what are we doing? And I'll be honest, I love me some sweet tea, but I was disappointed that she's in there talking about your proof that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. They tried to dim the light, but God had other plans. Keep living beautifully, sis. My turn coming soon. Grace over gossip, surviving, thriving, love you, boo. I'm like, okay, sweet tea. Now, what Sweetie said actually isn't bad on the face of it, but I think because we interpret and we see the timings are weird, right? The timing is definitely given. The timing is definitely given. People are coming out of the woodworks because they don't like Wendy for whatever reason, or love her Neka over Wendy. But I feel like I absolutely hated the way Ineka came across with the whole Nigerian thing, and I'm Nigerian. So I just think that's crazy. Um, it's like you're feeding into stereotypes that are not accurate, and you're bringing that onto a national platform. I would even go as far as saying a global platform, because I don't even live in the US and I watch this, right? So I just think that I absolutely did not like the way she came across. I feel like she fumbled that bag. So us saying that because Wendy is going through what Wendy's going through is not a vindication for Neka. I think people need to go back and watch the season and remember how Ineka herself came across. And that's the thing about when people don't like somebody, it's like you're so quick to be like, "Ooh, that's vindication." Girl, vindicated from what? Nobody told you to bring that Osu mess onto Real Housewives of Potomac. You did that by yourself. Nobody told you to bring up the whole, um, you know, what else did she say again? I'm trying to remember. Oh, her mama being a witch. Like, you did that by yourself. So I just think like the way things are coming across, I absolutely do not like that at all. Okay, so I can't read the last comment, so let me do it. Oh, what have I done? I was trying to remove the reviews and recap so I can read the thing, but I'm still figuring this out. Ooh, okay, got it. So someone says that's my girl living her truth and looking gorgeous doing it. Okay, so I don't know if that lady is part of the shade, but it's definitely giving shady, okay? So let's see what the people had to say. I don't ever want anyone hyping me over someone else's downfall, whether I like them or not. Sis, I'm like this because you are onto something. Anybody that can be in the comments hyping you when something like that happens is going to do the same thing to you when you get in trouble. If you get in trouble, they will also be out here being like, oh, I knew something wasn't right with her. So yeah, I do not want nobody. Don't hype me. Don't be like, ooh, I'm so happy. No, don't. At the expense of somebody's life, please miss me with that BS. Absolutely miss me with that BS. So let's see what this other person had to say. Sorry, but Neka fumbled her own spot because she was more concerned with competing with her Nigerian sister to take her spot. It backfired, and from the looks of her friends, whoa, okay. She is still bitter about it. She was literally the weapon that didn't prosper against Wendy. Ain't that hilarious? It's like not you trying to be the weapon formed against somebody. Like, please. and then you caused it for yourself. I'm gonna like that because it makes sense to me. Someone said, not the fired ones coming for Wendy. Sweet tea, please don't get us started. Bravo rejects Unite. Oh my gosh. And Ineka is still a flop as a class cast member of the show. All Bravo rejects celebrating is sending me. Not the Legion of Doom activating their Wonder Twin powers to try and drag Wendy. Everyone involved needs to focus on their home and stop rejoicing over someone's downfall. I absolutely like how, oh, I don't want to like the bit about Legion of Doom, but I absolutely like how that person worded the other bits of it, because I think it's so easy to be like, oh, Wendy, and be laughing and stuff, but it's like at the expense of somebody's life. That is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Someone said their memory span is short and they are her personal acquaintances because she didn't even have furniture or appliances in her kitchen 2.0. Ooh. Inviting the other housewives over to unpack your wedding gifts and not even have any food. Her jewels may be accounted for, but nothing indicated that she was doing much better than Wendy, who, in spite of the scandal, was actually employed. Okay. You're all going to start liking her because of what Wendy is going through is crazy, but that will run out soon. Absolutely. I'm going to stop reading the comments, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just think like people need to stop rejoicing over people's downfall. It's like you could be next. Keep playing around and you will find out you will be next if you're not if you may be next. Let's just say that because I don't want to be a prophet of doom. But you could be next playing around like that. Not sweetie, cornball. I was definitely very, very disappointed, sis. It's like no need to be hyping somebody up because of someone's downfall. That's crazy work. Nasty work, actually. Yes, you have heard it here. Please click the like button as you join the live. Please hit that like button. Tommy, how many likes do we have so we can see how many people are in the chat and how many likes do we have? Put it in the chat, please. Thank you. Tommy says Bravo rejects Unite. Absolutely. It's like they have set up a meeting. They're like, yes, we need to drag Wendy and shade Wendy. Like, girl, Wendy's back at home, at least for now. So you lot continue to shade her. That lady is back at home with her family, at least for now. So whatever. So the video about Wendy allegedly lying has now resurfaced, and I hate that for her, but we gotta watch it, and you guys have to tell me what you think. Okay, so this is just a recap. This is an interview that Wendy did a while back, when she was asked about the alleged burglary in her home.
That in April, your home was broken into or something? Was this during filming that this happened?
I think it was right to be.
Are you noticing the body language, the way she's looking away? I think it was, that sounds like a tone of somebody who isn't so sure, right? Allegedly, this is just my opinion. Let me find that banner for a second. Let me put that banner up. Okay, so just FYI.
Before.
Okay.
Like, literally before camera went up, it happened because my family was away on spring break. It was our spring break trip with the kiddos. And
okay, so her children were not in the home. At least she didn't do a silly thing with setting up whilst her children were in the home. Okay. She's looking away constantly. Sounds like she's not convinced about what she's saying from the looks of it, honestly.
Just so heartbroken. Like, I think a few of my first initial scenes, I'm just a little bit uneasy because we had just been violated, so to speak. It was the worst thing. It's so unexpected, especially.
Oh, this did not age well at all. This did not age well.
Especially since, from my vantage point and from the investigators' vantage point, it was targeted,
Really?
Yeah, because...
From the investigators' vantage point, it was targeted. Oh, I'm just like, was that the impression they got? Because unbeknownst to them, the investigators were looking at them like, girl, we think you concocted the whole thing.
I've lived in this neighborhood for, a long time, but since the neighborhood has been in inception for over 20 years, there has been no burglary.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And so it's
Okay, let me pause that because I just saw that we only have 11 likes in the chat and we have way more people than 11 likes, than 11 people. So please don't be stingy with the likes. It is free. Please hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel, or even hit the dislike button. Like, that is fine. Whichever one you choose to do will at least send something into the algorithm so that other people that like the content can find the content. So please hit that like button or the dislike button. Just hit something for me, please, and thank you. All right, let's keep watching this.
it's so heartbreaking. And again,
Forgot that in April,
so she's literally just there like, it's so heartbreaking, and it's like, sis, why are you lying? Oh my gosh. Why are you lying? It's so sad, honestly.
So heartbreaking. And again, like
even when she says it's so heartbreaking, she's literally looking down, because it's almost like she's not really believing what it is that she is saying, and it's so sad. It's so sad to watch that back. LaDon is telling y'all, please hit the like button for our girl. Thank you, sis. Everybody, please hit that like button. You've heard it from LaDon. Hit that like button. Smash it, bang it. Just hit that like button. You can even aggressively hit it. Just hit that like button, please. Thank you.
Going back to my earlier statement, where at my core, what centers me is motherhood. My first thought was my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, part of the reason why I live where I live is for their safety, for them to have ample, acres to be able to run, play, enjoy.
I just wish you didn't bring the kiddies into that. It's like, honey, if you want to lie, don't bring the kiddies into it. Don't bring the kiddies into it. Please. No. It's so sad, honestly. It is so sad.
Free of anything. And when someone comes into your home, which is such a sacred space, and violates you in that way, you start questioning things. So I'm just glad that we are okay, we're safe, and we are able to move forward from that as a family. But man, that was definitely
her looking down again, but that was definitely she is really given that she is not believing a thing that she is saying. Hit that like button. Party. I love it.
gut-wrenching.
Absolutely. And that's something you have to process too. That's not something that you just, okay, it happened. We've locked the house back down. No, like I think the mental recovery from something like that must be kind of difficult.
Absolutely. And now my house is like Fort Knox before, but now it's like complete Fort Knox, like nothing.
Ugh, my goodness. Just watching this back just hurts my soul, honestly. Because I'm just like, sis, this can and will be used against you, mama. Ugh. I honestly wish that she had consulted the right people. But sometimes with these kind of things, you don't talk to people. You're just in that state of desperation. And you're just like, let's just do this. And I think that's probably where she was at. Sad, but absolutely sad.
Even how we vacation is different. How I post on social media is different. Is altered. So heartbreaking. And again, like going back to my earlier statement, where at my core, what centers me is motherhood. My first thought was my kids. And, part of the reason why I live where I live is for.
Yeah. Oh, Wendy, no, Wendy, please. Next time, don't ever, if you ever get away with this, don't ever do anything wrong again in your life. Like, stay on the up and up forever, please. Ooh, Tommy, I'm going to say allegedly. So Tommy has a theory that maybe her husband lied to her. So Tommy, do you feel like her husband told her allegedly that the the property was broken into? Let me know what you think, Tommy. That could be so interesting. Mm-mm. Oh no, I don't want Ashley and her mom singing. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Don't want to see that. Do you think so? Oh my god. I want to hear what Tommy wants to say. Tommy, let me know if you want to come up and add your little. If not, just put it in the chat. Let me know what you think happened. Because Tommy has an alternative story, and over here we be having some alternative theories, honey. So yeah, please share with the class. Like, what do you think? So you think that she was lied to by her husband. So you think maybe the husband staged the alleged burglary and then she thought it was legit? So do you think that she knew that her items wasn't okay? So you don't mind coming up. All right, let's hear from the horse's mouth. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And then you can come up and share your 2 cents. I am so curious. I'm like, let's figure out what's going on over here. Also, just to say, everything she says is allegedly alleged, okay? Even us talking is alleged for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, it's not being stated as a fact, it's just alleged. Okay, let me see. I've put the link in the chat, by the way, so I don't know if you've seen it. If you see the link, just hit that link, and then it should bring you up, and then you can come say your 2 cents. Okay, says you have joined. All right. Hey. Hello. I can't hear you, by the way. I don't think anybody can. I brought you in, but I can't hear you. Maybe there's something up with your mic. I think maybe disconnect it and then reconnect. So come out of the studio and then come back in. Okay. While she's doing that, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Okay, let me read the chat while she's doing that. The Don said, I hope for the kids' sake, because they both don't need to go down. Absolutely. And if I were one of them needs to take the fall. I feel like with Eddie is not going to be able to have his license regardless. So if I were him, I would, if I were, if they were both guilty or whatever, and one person had to take the fall for it, in a way that doesn't implicate the other, I would say Eddie needs to take the fall for it. Because at the end of the day, Wendy will be able to revamp her name eventually. I think with Eddie, because he's a lawyer and the standards for a lawyer is so high. When I say you cannot be dishonest, that is one of the things they do. Like in most if not all jurisdictions, they will literally check. They will check whether that's what you're on. They will check your history, make sure you don't have any criminal convictions. All those kind of things are things that they check before you can become a lawyer. And also, you are usually expected to be honest, act with integrity. So he's shown allegedly to not be that and to not act with integrity. So he is losing that law license regardless, or at least getting I'll be surprised if he doesn't lose it completely. Most jurisdictions are different. I know in the UK, you're done. You're completely going to be struck off as being a lawyer. And that would be publicized. So if it was something, it will just be better for him to give it up, because regardless, there's no way you're going to be able to practice as a lawyer. So you might as well just give it up. But anyway, hey Tommy. Girl, I can't hear you. For some reason, I think maybe your audio is not connecting, because even here I can't see your microphone. Your microphone doesn't seem to be connecting for some reason. Andrea says one is going to have to throw the other under the bus. I can't see this going another way. Absolutely. And I feel like this is why I think that they just need to cut the crap, because they gave a statement which I absolutely think is bananas. They are looking forward to their day in court, allegedly. And I'm thinking, what day in court? If they found 15 items that you've allegedly said were part of the robbery, excuse me, were part of the robbery, and then all of a sudden you're trying to let us know that it wasn't part of the robbery again, like I don't understand. And so I don't get what day in court they are looking forward to, because it's not going to go the way they think it's going to go. And that's why I feel like if you know you did it and there's so much evidence against you, don't waste the court's time. Because if you waste the court's time, it will be reflective in the sentencing that you will get. All of those things will be factored into account. But if you make a deal, you could get a better deal, because 9 out of 10 they may not even want to go through the stress of taking things to court. Now, I will say, I get the impression they want to use them as they want to make an example out of them. That is the vibe I absolutely get. Okay, so Tommy has joined again. Let's hope the third time is the charm. Hey, girl. Girl, what is going on with that mic? I don't know what's going on with that mic, but I cannot hear anything. Or is it me? Am I on mute? No. My laptop is not on mute, girl. I cannot hear you. And when I look at you in the studio, it literally still shows that you don't have a mic. So I don't know what's happening. Do you want to join with like your phone or something? Let me try something here and say hide camera, click audio. No, did not work. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep I'm going to keep reading the chat until Tommy figures out what's going on with her mic. Let's give it one more try. If not, then yeah, just give us the theory in the chat. If we'll give it one more time. Try one more time. Try connecting your mic before you join. And maybe check your settings to make sure that your microphone is allowed or whatever for restream, and then try again. All right, so Andrea is saying his license may be suspended or worse, revoked, and possibly a financial penalty. Absolutely. I will be surprised if it's suspended and not completely revoked. But I know that from from what I've seen, the US can be, depending on the state, can be more lenient than the UK, for instance. So you may be right. You may be suspended for a couple of years or something. But the UK, you are losing that license completely. Absolutely, completely. I hope this deter others from making false claims against their insurers. It's not a smart thing to do. It will ruin lives. Absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting you say that, because a lot of people, it's preached a lot. It really is preached a lot. I'll be completely honest. Like, I've had people even say to me, like, girl, oh, you broke your phone. Did you have insurance on it? I'm like, oh yeah, I actually canceled my insurance a couple of days. Like, girl, just put the thing in. Like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, what? No. So you want me to restart the insurance and then send them a phone that I broke after I canceled my insurance initially, and then wait a couple of days to then, nah, come on. Right? And I think sometimes that's how it happens. And that's why it's so important to be very careful of the kind of conversations that we have. Sometimes when you're talking to friends and family, it's not everything that they tell you that you listen to. I will not be surprised if some dumb family member or friend of theirs who has done this before said to them, like, yo, you guys are going through this, you can easily do this. and you can make money from it. They don't really check. But that's the thing. Like if it's something that high, of course they're going to check, right? And so it's so sad. Hi, Tommy.
Hello?
Hey, girl. Now I can hear you.
Oh.
You okay?
Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So you have this alternative story, and I feel like let's talk about it. Why not? We've already told the people it's alleged, so we're not stating it
Yeah.
as a fact. So what do you think?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know, I have a feeling that like Wendy was lied to. I don't know how like obviously
Mm,
because there are no facts and like based off what we're seeing, it's like, but like because I went through the charges
mm-hmm.
and I was like, it's just giving she's trying to cover up for her husband and she might have already found out. I'm not saying like she's totally innocent, like when they
Mm-hmm.
caught them and all of that, like she might have already found out, but it seems like something that he started and then she
Mm-hmm.
got in. I
Right.
don't know. It's just
So
a
you feel
conspiracy
like he
theory.
brought he brought the juice, he brought the
The
spirit,
mess,
like
yeah.
let's do this or something, or maybe he
Yeah.
already was doing it and then he's like,
Started it, yeah. Then
mm,
she just because she's a lawyer. I mean, she's a professor. Like
mm,
she just I don't know, like it's just to me, Eddie has always been sort of like, sir, what are you doing?
a little
Like, yeah,
slow.
you're a lawyer, but like how many cases are you handling really?
Win
Like
a
you're just
case.
always there. How many cases are you really handling as a lawyer? Like it's just
Mm,
always been very questionable. So that's what I think.
yeah, it's given in the words of, was it Sheree to Phaedra, win a case.
Yeah.
Was it Cynthia? It was given win a
Because
case.
lawyers are always busy. Like lawyers are always busy, but
Yes.
Eddie is just always there and always around. So I don't know. I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like there's some truth to what you're saying. Allegedly. Okay. And the reason I say that is, wasn't there like some email where it was like, we should add this to the claim? And didn't that
Mm,
come from Eddie to Wendy?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you get? So it feels like something that he decided to do and then brought her in on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what time she was brought into it, but that's what it gives, because it's like, why are you having a conversation with your wife talking about like, oh yeah, let's add this one to the claim. Like, sir, are you okay?
Mm.
And then I think to find out that like he allegedly called, I believe, one of the insurance company, talking about, oh, they had initially had their bands with them or their wedding rings or whatever, and then called them later on to say, oh no, it was also included in the burglary or whatever. And it's like,
Exactly.
dude, what are you doing? And I
Exactly.
hope the man does not have a gambling problem, because that's what I thought about.
I'm
Um
like not to slam Nigerian, but like
mhm,
he's Nigerian. Like
mm,
ugh,
mhm.
Nigerian man. God.
You're gonna get us cancelled tonight.
I'm Nigerian, so I can say it.
Yes,
If
girl.
anyone else says it, then it's bad. But I'm
Yeah,
Nigerian, so it's okay for me to say it.
yes,
But
girl.
yeah, like Nigerian men, like when they're like so wealthy like that, is usually they're very like I don't know what it is, but they're so quick to just do fraud. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know.
Do you know what I think, low key? And I know this is
Mm.
like taking a little diversion, but I like it. I
Mm.
feel like low key, I think is the thrill. I feel
Mm.
like they feel like they're so smart and they can get away with it.
Yeah.
And also, I think sometimes you grow up around fraudsters, right? Um, and you grow up around people who have gotten away with so much. And
Mm.
you think like, oh, I don't even do half the things they do.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, please, what's a little zero at the end? What's a little bit like, let me inflate it a little bit, right? And I feel like that could be why. And it's so sad because it's like you guys get to such high places and
Right.
then you
And you're still
break it
cooking.
down exactly by doing some
Bro,
stupid
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's very, very disappointing, I will say that. But yeah, like I'm not surprised I'm surprised, but I mean like I'm when it comes to Nigerians, sometimes like I'm Nigerian too, you know this, but like it's like sometimes it's like, please, can we not like follow the stereotype? Can we work against the stereotype, honey? You know, I think there was one day in the chat where someone was like coming at like, oh, this is what Nigerians do, da da da. And I could not even say nothing because I was like, low key, like, what am I supposed to say to this? Like, don't put all of us in the same boxes. And I feel that way absolutely because there's some of us who work hard and
Yeah.
who are on our grind and don't be doing shady-ish and have integrity. But at the same time, right? Like, I feel like it's so sad when we see people who have succeeded without fraud, then get them in fraud because they think they can get away with it.
It's
Yeah.
so exhausting. It's so exhausting. And like at the end of the day, I wish them the best, but I can like literally bet that like her husband got her into this mess. Like I don't know. I just have this,
Mhm.
like weird
Me too. Me
conviction in
too.
my
I low-key feel that way as well. I low-key feel that way as well. Because I don't think Wendy by herself would think, oh, this is a bright
exactly.
idea for us to do. You
Exactly.
know, the Miss Excellence. I don't get that
Yeah.
impression at all. But you guys in the chat, let us know. Do you think that Wendy was the one who came up with this alleged idea, or do you think it was Eddie? And you know what's so sad? I saw it in the comments, in I don't know, I saw in a few comments where people were saying something about how remember Wendy's family said not Wendy, Eddie's family said marrying Wendy would be the death of him or something like that, or cause him problems. Because you know the family, Eddie's family don't like Wendy.
Yeah.
And so people were in the comments saying, oh, is this what the family saw? And I'm like, guys, no. Because now it's given that you guys are blaming Wendy for this whole saga when in reality maybe it was Eddie that brought this whole story and brought this whole drama and was like, oh, let's try this, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel like Nigerian parents sort of like pander to Nigerian men generally.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just yeah, they would obviously say that, but I really don't think it's Wendy. I don't. If it's her, then wow, then that would be a plot twist. But like
Mm.
that would be a plot twist. But I just feel like it's not her.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I feel like low key, yeah, I don't think it's her at all. I think that, yeah, they bit more than they could chew,
Hmm.
if I'm being completely honest. I think they probably thought it was going to be something easy, quick money for whatever monetary issues they were facing at the time. And it has just completely blown up in their faces.
So sad.
So, yeah, so sad. But thanks for coming up, girl.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to tell the people?
Please click the like button, guys, and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing more and more of this, and it's going to be more interactive. So please, guys, like to support the channel. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, girl. Thanks for coming up. And yeah, like, girl, if you want to come back up, you know, or you want to be in the background, that's fine too,
Okay.
girl. All right. Okay, so yeah, I just think the whole thing, I really hope, like you said, Andrea, like it deters people from making false claims. I just think, like, in our community, there is a lot of this where people feel like, oh, it's insurers, you're not defrauding direct people, you're not, you know, running no romance scams and things like that. You know, it's this big, you know, faceless company that is paying you, right? And I just think that even that should not be a cop out. So yeah, it's definitely not a smart thing to do. Protect your life. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about the Andy Cohen stuff. And then we'll talk about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay. Let me share this tab. Okay, so let me share this tab. And here is Andy talking about his feelings about the whole Wendy situation. Let me put that, please hit that like button again. I'm just gonna keep this here until y'all hit that like button until the likes match. Alright, okay. Let me play this for y'all.
Want to say that, like all of you, I found out about the charges against Wendy and Eddie Osefo on Friday morning.
It's the full name. It's like now it's no longer just Wendy. It's like Wendy and Eddie Osefo. Like, okay, that sounds so formal, guys. It's definitely given formal.
And there's not much that I can say. I know nothing of the charges more than you guys do, than what I've read. I'm sad about this. I'm really sad about this. And, Wendy is just, I'm a Wendy fan. And she has been a great housewife and a great role model she's always led with education and her solid family values. And so that's what,
Yeah, I completely agree with Andy on that. It's very, very sad. And he's right. Like throughout the whole Real Housewives of Potomac since Wendy joined, it's always been very much housewife, education. I have this many degrees, right? So that's what it has always been about. And to see this is, yeah, it's completely sad, very shocking.
I'm really thinking about her and her family, and I'm certainly hoping that this is all some big, nothing. And by the way, last night's Watch What Happens Live, we
Yeah, so yeah, I do agree. I really hope it's one big misunderstanding, but it ain't looking like that. I will say that.
had taped that before I went to LA, so that is why you did not hear me asking Ashley her thoughts on that, in case you were wondering.
To be honest, we don't even want to hear Ashley's thoughts about it because Ashley has been out here talking about it anyway. So she's giving us the information for free. So we don't need to watch What Happens Live to see what Ashley has to say. And Ashley, I guess, is not really addressing it. But from the way it's looking, do you think she'll get fired? I actually don't think she's going to get fired. Because think about it. This is really good TV. If she goes through, Bravo love a good redemption story, honey. So if she goes to jail or doesn't go to jail, goes through this, there's going to be a season of the girls dogging her out about it. So that's one season, calling her out, holding her accountable. So similar to the last season when we had the whole Karen situation of it all. So there's definitely going to be something like that where there'll be a whole season of just rah 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 rah, right? And so that would give us one season of Wendy on the hot seat. Then if she does get put in the cling cling, which I don't hope that happens for the sake of her beautiful children, then we get a season of maybe following the story, what happens. And then if she comes out, then we get to follow her and then how she then pivots from that, how she takes accountability, how she then pivots into, I made a mistake, things were hard, I was stupid, and now I'm here. And people love a good story because a lot of people, we've all done something wrong, right? It may not be criminal or whatever, but we've all done something wrong. Everyone can resonate with making a mistake, doing something wrong, taking accountability, hoping for the best. We've all done things where we're like, God, please, may I not experience the consequence of this action, right? And so I feel like she can have that redemption. So I don't necessarily think, long story short, I don't think she'll get fired. But you lot, let me know if you guys think Wendy is going to get fired. I will say though, Do you guys know that she was meant to be in Wife Swap? And I was so excited to cover Wife Swap because I was like, oh, Wendy is in it. And she was already entertaining from the sneak peek that I saw. And I was really excited to cover it for you guys, but they're not going to be showing the episode that she is on. They've pulled it, and I think that is a good idea. I know people think that they are punishing her by doing that, but low-key, I have a different perspective on that. Think about it. Wife swap, they're going to be showing her house. They are going to be showing the things that she has in the house. Knowing fully well that these people are accusing them of basically having things in the house that they claimed on the insurance claim. So to then be showing that on the screen is evidence. It's like, oh, you guys filmed the show and all of this was here. That is not going to go down well at all. That can be used, that will and can be used against Wendy in court. That is literally evidence served on a platter of gold. So I do think that maybe that is why they are not, choosing to show that episode. And in a way, I'm glad they are not. At least hold it until there is a decision made in the case, right? So if a decision is made in the case, guilty or not guilty, at least they are not using that evidence against her, right? It would just be whatever they found. And then they can argue over, who is right, who's telling the truth, all of that in court. But at least let it not be the Bravo cameras are flipping out here giving her the whole thing, right? So I'm just that's just something to flag. Andy is calling her full government name. Is she of the Bravo franchise? Yes, girl. Like that is, he was like Wendy and Eddie Osefo. Like, oh my, okay, not just Wendy and Eddie anymore. Like, okay. This is the thing, man. Like tables turn sometimes so quickly, and we just have to be so careful and just give people grace as much as you possibly can. Give yourself grace, give people grace, and try to think about the impacts of actions, right? But that's all we can do. We can listen to the police comments on the Wendy case. It sounds very serious, like they have a lot of evidence. Absolutely. And it's interesting you say that. Let me pull that up because it seems like they were. Do we have that over here? I don't think they do. But I know I saw it somewhere. So let me pull that up. But yeah, it definitely sounded like they were not out here playing. Like it sounded like they are taking it seriously. Let me share this tab instead. I'm going to play it for you guys. Like I said, I'll have to keep us in because I'm not trying to get in no trouble with these people.
Deputies executed a search and seizure warrant at the residence during the arrest. An additional 15 items that were.
First of all, the fact that they're even doing this is given it's extremely serious. They want to use her use them as a deterrent. They want to use them to deter people who do this. It's given, they know people do this, but this is the first one that this is one of the ones where they're actually able to catch the people red-handed. And they're trying to make sure that never happens again. That is absolutely what it is given.
Believed to be reported stolen by the SFOs during the initial report were also located during that search and seizure warrant. Those items included jewelry and.
So what they're saying is these items were actually allegedly at the house. So these are the things that they're saying, they lost or whatever. These items are allegedly still over there at the house. They couldn't even give it to people. Like, what are we doing, guys? Oh.
High-end handbags. The SFOs were booked into the Carroll County Detention Center and later released on $50,000 bonds, or with $50,000 bond. A false report attempted to defraud their insurance company. On October 29th, 2025, the case was presented to Carroll County Grand Jury, which returned indictments against both.
Mm-mm-mm. It sounds like, I think I heard that it was 15 items. Yes. And like 15 items. That is a lot of items. Like, this is not just one item. This is 15. It's a lot.
Both Edward and Wendy Asefo on multiple counts of fraud and false reporting. Both individuals were located and taken into custody at their Turnberry Court address on the afternoon of October 9th, yesterday, by the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. Really nothing that indicated around the window that that anybody had come into the residence. We didn't.
That's the thing. It's like, you guys even have Ring cameras and stuff. Like, if you're claiming that somebody came to the residence and nothing is showing on the Ring camera, it's like, it's hard to believe. Absolutely hard to believe. It's just not adding up.
Deputies executed a search and seizure warrant at the residence during the arrest. An additional 15 items that were believed to be reported stolen by the Asefos during the initial report were also located during that search and seizure warrant. Those items included jewelry and high-end handbags.
Oof, jewelry and high-end. 15 items. Don't worry about the consequences at all. Absolutely. I feel like they had a false sense of security. And I think the reason is because they were paid. So it sounds like the insurers actually paid out some of the insurance, or if not all, paid them the values of things that they wanted. And I think they thought that they were all good. They had this false sense of security, because it doesn't make sense how you would have these items just out here, just casually chilling in your house. So odd.
The Asefos were booked into the Carroll County Detention Center and later released on $50,000 bonds, or with $50,000 bond. Filed a false report and attempted to fraud their insurance company. On October 29th, 2025, the case was presented to Carroll County Grand Jury, which returned indictments against both Edward and Wendy Asefo on multiple counts of fraud and false reporting. Both individuals were located.
So basically, well, he's already said about, like, it's not, they had like a grand jury who would have like evaluated the evidence. Now, of course, they're only hearing the side of the prosecution, but based on the evidence, they felt like Wendy and Eddie were guilty. So now the next stage would be courts if they don't take a plea.
And taken into custody at their Turnberry Court address on the afternoon of October 9th, yesterday, by the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. Really nothing that indicated around the window that that anybody had come into the residence. We didn't. Deputies into the residence. We did note that the grass had just recently been cut. My detectives actually traveled up the side, walked out on the roof, and walked back into the bathroom, only to track stuff inside into the bathroom, asphalt from their shoes or debris. And I'm pretty sure the burglar didn't take a broom and clean up after themselves.
Things like this, and this is how you know they're not criminals, right? Because things like that are like things that a basic criminal would know to do, because it's like, yo, you have to make it look believable. You can't just be out here saying, how did they get in? There's no trail, there's nothing, no dirt, nothing. It doesn't make sense. The cleaner is not going, or the thief or burglars are not going to be like, yo, let me take my shoes off. Let me not bring mud and dirt into the house. Let me take my shoes off. That's craziness. But guess who would do that? Owners of the house, because you don't want to bring the debris into the house, right? So these are things that police officers are always looking out for all of the time. Those are like just basic 101. But that's why I say they're not criminals, because if they were criminals, these are things that you know as a criminal, like, yo, you got to make this believable. You have to really act like, you know, you got to make it believable, essentially. So, yeah, it's not adding up. Let's just say that.
If they, in fact, tossed the room like was staged during the burglary. So,
okay, good afternoon. In response to the various media inquiries that I've gotten today in connection with this matter, I've indicated to everybody, and I want to emphasize it again, as a threshold matter, that all persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So I want to get that out front.
She's like, let me just get that out of the way. Like, yeah, everybody's innocent, but here's what we have. Like, okay, sir.
As the sheriff indicated,
to the residents, we did note that the
investigation, I mean, had it just been a normal housewife, would she have been?
So someone is asking a question about that. You know, is she being treated differently because she's a housewife or whatever?
In this matter, you think, or would this have just flown right through?
No, I don't think we would have treated it any differently at all. I mean, it was a high amount that they were alleging us.
And another thing, because it was a high dollar amount, suspicions are even higher. It's not like these people asking for $4,000. These people is like almost $500,000. So of course suspicions are going to be raised, and especially when things don't add up. There's no dirt, nobody in the ring camera, not even a shadow except delivery man. And delivery man came, which shows that the ring camera is working. Then all of a sudden it's not working again. It's like this shows me that they must have been so desperate. Whoever it is that orchestrated it, thought about it, must have been in such a desperate place. Like maybe like loan sharks were in their neck or something, because I don't understand how that is even a smart thing to do. And not think about ring camera, not think about just basic things that will cause suspicion.
That was stolen. And so if there was, we believe that it's a false report, we'll investigate the same way. So I don't care if she's a real housewife, fake housewife, or whatever she is, we would have handled it the same way regardless of who she is.
Okay. Definitely sounds like they're going to use them as the example. You guys, we got to pray for them.
She was.
Investigation, I mean, had it just been a normal housewife.
yesterday, the defendants were indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County in connection with Wendy Osefo. It was 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. They posted bail.
Honestly, that false statement to a police officer, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. And the way these people are talking, their energy is given. They want to use them as the example. They want to persecute them to the full extent of the law. It's really sad because like I'm just like, I hope they don't lose a lot of things just for all of this. You know, absolutely very sad. Okay, well, that's all we can say on the point. Let me see, was there anything I wanted to address before we talk about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Potomac? There is definitely one thing that I wanted to talk about, but I guess let me see. Should we deal with it now? Okay, we'll talk about it after the Real Housewives of Potomac, just because I feel like it's a little bit intertwined. But there is one thing I want to talk about quickly before we go into the latest episode of Potomac, and that is KT Rost. Now, let me share this tab. So, this is her responding to the whole craziness with Wendy and Ashley, right? So she says, Ashley and I love each other. There is no beef, but she has no couth. I gotta throw a flag. My magical vagina that she told details about. She told Andy Cohen I have a hamster pee on national TV. She ate it, so I guess you would know. Oh. Okay. She is just a hater. We love you, Wendy. Wow, and wow. Now, I will say, we may not like the messenger, but she's not wrong about Ashley having no couth. I'm not going to lie. She is not wrong about Ashley having no couth. Because look at that party. And this just let's just talk about Real Housewives of Potomac for a second. Look at that party that Ashley decided to have. What was that performance about? Was that necessary? Like what was the whole thing about? I'm just like, that party was given what in the ghetto tacky, unnecessary mess is this? She could have scrapped the whole performance. There was no need for all that performance that Ashley had at her event. But it's very, very much on brand for Ashley because, like she said, Ashley has no couth. That's just who Ashley is. Ashley is tacky, tacky Ash. That is her vibe. That is her. I don't even think she cares. I think she knows. And that's why I say I feel like she is in her villain era. I think she knows the people don't like her, but her name is always on the mouths of people. And that is what brings her back onto the show Real Housewives of Potomac. And she wants that check. So she's like anything to get the people talking, even if the people are angry at her, she knows that it's gonna keep the people talking. So she's like, let's keep the people talking. That's all Ashley is on. Um, so the new housewife, I would say, what do you guys think about Tia? Let me know what you all think about Tia in the chat. Tia is the new British girl. What do you guys think about Tia? Ashley is so annoying. Absolutely agree. Like, when you think annoying, Ashley's name is on the wall, honey. Ashley stays annoying. Look, I feel like she does it because that's just a way to stay on the show. This is just my opinion, but I really believe that. I think Ashley just be on there. And so you said Andy's dragging Stacey. Yes, we'll talk about that. Don't worry, that is on my list. I will not forget. If I forget, please put me straight. I need to remember to address that after I finish the Real Housewives of Potomac recap. Okay, so my initial thoughts on Tia. Tia is the new British girl. I think that she seems like a great addition. I think that I love the way she banters. I love the fact that she's bringing a different energy to the show. She sounds like, yes, I'm upbeat and prime and proper, but I could also read you for filth. So I would be very interested to see how she navigates, a shady experience with any of the girlies. Um, I love. I know a lot of people are like, because I've seen some comments about the accent sounds fake. I'm like, honey, that accent does not sound fake. That accent sounds like somebody that went to private school in Britain, honey. Okay? So do with that what you will. And I was not surprised when I heard the accent, and then she proceeded to say she went to private school, private boarding school in England. I said, yep, sounds like the accent. She literally has the accent of someone who went to private boarding school in the UK. So I'm not surprised. I do agree, Tommy. She seems interesting. She seems bougie. Love it. And I think it's a good addition to Potomac because I don't think a lot of the people on the cast are that. Think about Ashley. Ashley is definitely not giving no bougie vibes. Giselle is not giving bougie vibes. Kiana doesn't give bougie vibes. Um, Angel gives down to earth but rich girl. Wendy gives a little bit of that. But Tia seems like somebody who is really about that, right? So I think it would be very interesting to see like what the new season is like, how she warms up with the girlies. I'm very excited. I hope we get to know a little bit more about her. I did like that her daughter had some personality. If you guys notice, her daughter was like, I don't like the dog very much. I like her, but not that much, or something like that. And I was like, ooh, personality. Okay, girl. Like, most people will not be comfortable talking about a dog like that or even doing that on TV. So I feel like it'll be very interesting to see her dynamic with her children because I think that that could make for a really good show. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited to see that. The other thing I really would say I enjoyed from today's episode was Angel and her husband. I love seeing their dynamic. It sounds like Angel and her husband got the money, 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 money. That Colorado property that they have looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm actually excited to see what they do with the property, with the new property that they do buy in Potomac. I'm very like seeing the decor of what they did in Colorado. I'm actually looking forward to what they will do with the new property once they get it. Because think about it, like what I've noticed sometimes is like a lot of these wealthy people, they get all these houses and the interior is so tacky looking. Like, ugh, you guys may not like this, but I'm not gonna say it's tacky, but I will say I don't like the decor in Phaedra's house very much. Not so much. I don't necessarily think it's cohesive. I also don't like the decor in Candy's house very much, but it's just not my taste, right? But I will say, so far from what I saw about the Colorado home, I liked it. And I think like some wealthy people, they have like very tacky um taste in like interior. It's like Shamia, right? Now, I don't necessarily know or remember if Shamia's house looked tacky, but as someone who is married to a man that, is wealthy, I would expect her fashions to be indicative of that, right? But Shamia's fashions definitely gives low budget, gives very tacky vibes. Um, I think she's picking up now, but I think the first season or the last season that she was on, it was very much giving like, girl, we didn't even know you were a rich girl. Like, why are you wearing these sort of fashions? Like, it's just not given class, right? So I think it'd be very, very interesting to see Angel and her husband, how they decorate the new home. I want to see more of their dynamic together. I want to see Angel interacts with the kids, and just see what that's like a little bit more. Um, Now let's talk about Kiana and Giselle. So Giselle went over to see Kiana. You could tell Kiana is in a good place and good space. And I think part of it is because she is back in her own space. And I'm like, girl, that should tell you something. When you were over there living at this man's house, you did not have that much peace. You were crying all the time. No one knew who you were. Everyone was just always constantly consoling you. And so I think that Greg not being there or her not being at Greg's place has allowed us to try to get to know Kiana a little bit more. Now, I know some of us don't like what we're seeing, but at least it's given us the opportunity to actually even get to know who she was. I think last season, all we saw was the girl that seems to be all involved in this man's life, and this man did not really care too much. This man wanted her to be a traditional wife and stay at home and cook his meals barefoot. Like that was the vibe that it was given, right? And so I'm very glad that we haven't seen Greg in a while. You know, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I don't know him from a can of paint, but I felt like he and Kiana are just not a very good fit. And it's interesting because if you guys remember last episode, the mom said that. The mom said they were a toxic pair. And I think sometimes we need to learn to like leave people alone. If you're toxic with somebody, if you're a toxic match, leave them alone. Free yourself. Be at peace. If you can't live at this man's house without being out here crying all the time, complaining all the time, that's not your man. Like, free yourself. And so I just hope that she wakes up and realizes that she can do better than that relationship that she currently has with Greg. But one thing I would say is, sis, I'm glad you didn't bring Greg on this season, because I did not want to see another season of Greg treating you like that. So I'm glad you were smart enough to not bring him on this season. But now it feels like low-key she's overcompensating because she doesn't have that storyline. And then trying to really show up in certain ways. Because I didn't like this. So when she was talking to Giselle, they were kikiing about it. She then said to Giselle that she gave her friend a chin check. Now, I'll be honest, I did not know anything about no chin check. And Tia is from London and did not know nothing about chin check. So I just think we don't really use that phrase. But it was very interesting for me to learn a thing because I was like, what is chin check? But when Giselle then said in her confessionals that, oh, I didn't know we used that for friends, I was like, oh, so that sounds like a bad word. Like, what is going on? And so for Kiana to be talking big like she was out here chin checking the girl, and then we look back at the clip and it looks like she didn't even say nothing, is very weird to me. Now, it may be that the edits are intentionally made that way to make it seem like she didn't really say nothing when she actually did. We don't know. But from what we were looking at, it was not giving no chin check. So that's why I'm like, girl, who did you chin check? Because did she even know she got chin checked? Because she looks confused. Because when they were all together, and Giselle basically was saying to Kiana that, was saying that, oh, Kiana said you got chin checked. And she's like, what? Now, I will say, I did appreciate that once Giselle said to Kiana, like, you actually said chin checked. Because I think sometimes you can be getting into a conversation and get carried away and you're saying nonsense. And I wonder if that's what it is. And that's me giving her a bit of a benefit of the doubt. But low-key, I feel like Kiana talks a big game. You know, when somebody is gisting, right? Or so they're talking about something with their friends or whatever, and then they start talking big like they're big girl, you know? I got in that ass. You know, I made sure she knows I'm not the one to be talking to like that. Like, honey, did you do that? Did you really say that? And I low-key feel like maybe that's one of it, because maybe she was talking big girl to Giselle, trying to make Giselle feel like, yes, girl, Kiana read her down. But in reality, she didn't do none of that. Because from the clip we saw, it wasn't giving no chin check. It wasn't giving no red down, no shade down, nothing. It was given. Angel didn't even know she got chin checked. Angel didn't even know that Kiana had a problem. And it's like, Kiana, if you're going to be on the show, honey, you better learn to address things with your friend properly. Because anything you say in this group will be brought back. And I feel like Giselle didn't even add a little extra on it. She said exactly what you said. But I will give it to Kiana. When Giselle said to Kiana, you said you got chin checked, guess what she did? She said to her friend, she's sorry she used the word chin check. Right? Because Giselle said she said chin checked, right? So she corrected that. And then I loved how Angel said, girl, no, you don't chin check me. We chin check bitches together. Ooh, not her getting me to curse, and I don't even curse. Jeez. Sorry, guys. And so, like, we check B's together. I'm like, what the hell? So I love the fact that she handled her friend. I would say she handled her friend with grace, even though her friend was wrong. Because Kiana, there was no reason for you to be talking about your friend of how many years to another castmate that you just met. Girl, no need for all of that. That's your friend. You should be riding with her till the wheels fall off. Not out here talking about you chin checked her. No, ma'am. Let's not do that. So, but that being said, I like that her friend did not sweat it, at least publicly. I low-key feel like there will probably be some more conversations about it. I don't think it's going to just end there. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what kind of season Kiana has, because so far it doesn't sound like, or it doesn't seem like she's getting the best edits at all. At all. Okay, so that was the end of the episode. But one last thing before we move on from the episode, let me know, what do you guys think in terms of, who do you think? Oh, actually, one more thing that I wanted to talk about. They did bring up Stacey's breath again. They did bring up Stacey's breath again. And it's like, low-key, I'm like, is it really that bad that they keep on bringing it up? Or are they trying to bully the girl? Because it's like, sometimes you don't know if they're really trying to, because it's like, are they trying to bully her, or does her breath actually stink? And I know that, I say that, but then at the same time, I feel like word on the street of people that have actually met Stacey, they said her breath can actually be quite hot. Of course, I'm not there to verify, and I do not want to verify nobody's breath. But I just think that, I don't know, is talking about someone's breath is a little bit like, but I also understand, like, if this person's going to be in your friend circle and you're going to be talking to them constantly, I can understand not wanting to find out or hear nothing about or be around their breath without a mint. So fair enough. But I will say Stacey took it like a champ. Stacey laughed about it. She put the mint in her mouth and was like, ooh, let's all do like a breathing exercise. So she definitely knows how to pivot. And I think that's probably from years of being on television. She knows how, like, things are not going well. Maybe with her show, she knows how she has to pivot things. And I think it's a very, very good trait to have, because sometimes in life you have to pivot. If what you have planned, okay, things didn't work out, you've noticed you become the butt of the joke. It's like, all right, let me join in and let's laugh about it together. So I definitely think it'll be very interesting to see how things pan out. But if you had to rate this episode of Potomac, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent? What would you rate it? And 1 being terrible. What would you rate it? This episode, what would you rate it? Okay, just put it in the chat. I see a 5. Okay. You see a 5, 5, 5, 5. What would you guys rate it? What would you guys rate it? Let me know in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say that falls under? To be fair, like, ooh, Tommy says a 4. Okay. Okay, what do you lot think? So I see a 5, I see a 4. Anybody else? Anybody else? 5, 4. Okay. Okay, I see a 3. Okay, so we've gotten a 5, we've gotten a 4, we've gotten a 3. Well, we ain't gotten anything higher than any of those, so I take it wasn't really good. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy it. I would say that I watched it even like on fast mode, because I was just like, yeah, I don't really think anything interesting was happening this episode. And I was right. Like, yeah, it did nothing for me. Yeah, like I would probably give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. I think 5 is even me being nice, actually. Maybe a 4. Because like I couldn't say that I found anything interesting. Everything just felt very meh. Like, ugh, like nothing extra. It just felt like there was nothing to it, right? And so yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't really enjoy it. I think the first episode, yes, was good. I think this one was more maybe of a it has been pretty much a bit of a what do you call it? A filler episode. My goodness, that took me a while. Like, girl, are you okay? That took me a while. That just reminded me of when I was in the gym this morning. I was struggling for dear life. I was struggling. Like, there was this person that kept coming up to me at the gym. It was like, whatever is going on, it will be okay. I was like, no, 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 I'm fine. But it looks like I was constantly in deep thoughts, but I was constantly zoning out. And he was like, no, it's going to be okay. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm mentally fine. I'm just so tired that I kept zoning out. But yeah, I would say I probably would give it maybe a 5 or 4. Like, there was nothing entertaining. I don't even think at what point at one oh actually the one thing that just made me giggle a little bit was the kid who talked about not really liking the dog. I just thought it was like a breath of fresh air because everybody feels like they have to perform and pretend to like animals and pets and stuff, but some people just don't like pets, they don't like animals. So I thought it was like, refreshing to see somebody be honest. And yeah, it just also made me feel like kids are always honest regardless. Like, you don't want their honesty, you gonna get this honesty. That's just how most kids are, right? Um, anyway, okay, so let's move on to this. And let me share my screen. So I will share this, but then there's also a link. Let me get this link right here first. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys this so you guys can see what actually caused the ruckus. And people were pissed at Andy. And I'll show you why they were pissed at Andy. So let's So Ashley was on Watch What Happens Live. And you know how they do all these different games. So this time around, they did this game called Don't Hold Your Breath. And guess what they used? Guess whose picture they used? Watch.
Your Raggedy Ann energy for
Did you guys
another day. That happened. No, it didn't. It's fake.
Did you guys see that? Stacey's face with something green coming out of her mouth. So to indicate that her breath is hot. And then the game is called Don't Hold Your Breath. Okay?
Jeff invited you into my home. I gave her a beverage.
And see her face right there coming up on the side?
Yes, that's true. Ashley's.
But this is the thing. I know people, for some reason, and I wonder if this is because people like Stacey, but it seems to be people are very sensitive about this breath situation. And I don't know if it's because they like Stacey and don't believe her breath stinks and they just think that she's being bullied, whatever. But I feel like I've seen them use different people's faces for these kind of games. Now, they've never had a hold my breath segment, as far as I know. But they've used all sorts of images for Watch What Happens Live games. So I think people are being a bit sensitive about the situation. But let me know, because I may be wrong. You guys are allowed to disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, that is fine. Just let me know what you think. Toby says, "Oh no, that's honestly so horrible." Yeah, I get it. I feel like Loki, I feel like we are sensitive about people's breath, so I get it. But Tommy, what if the person's breath is actually hot? What if she has bad breath? This is just me putting a question out there. Yes. So I think that's because it's a horrible thing to say. If we're being honest, these things stick. I agree. But what if she actually has bad breath? And I'll tell you all why I say that in a second. But Tommy, my challenge is, what if it is actually true? Is it that we shouldn't say these things, even if they are true, because it will hurt people's feelings? Or are we just saying that it's a very touchy subject, let's not talk about people's breath? Like, what do you think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think because it is a sensitive topic that we shouldn't talk about it? Okay. So Tommy says, I feel like they can call her to the side to give her advice. It seems that they are trying to mock her. Give her the advice off camera. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't mind, giving her the advice off camera. I would say that's definitely a better route. But at the same time, I feel like these people are on TV, so I also get that. But if I were in that situation, I will not use it in the way in which these people have done it. I feel like they have made it into this thing where now everybody's laughing about her breath. They've made it into a topic of conversation on the show, which I think it was not necessary. Like you said, they could have just had the conversation off camera, or even if they had it on camera, it didn't need to be like a it didn't need to have to be like a whole thing where it was like she was being mocked for it. Now, the reason why I say like what if it's true is because I know of, I believe it was Kempire who said that when she was at his event, her breath also stank, allegedly. So it may be that there is something there. But I do agree. I don't think that it should be used to like mock anybody or anything. But yeah. But I do think Bravo be doing things like this in terms of using people's pictures or like pictures of things. Whatever is the topic of conversation, they turn it into like games and stuff. So I will say I'm not surprised there. But what I will say is we can read some people's feedback because people were not feeling Andy for that. So let me share this. Hey everyone, for those who have just come in, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. We've been talking about all things Potomac, so all of the updates since Wendy and her husband Eddie were arrested. We talked about Andy Cohen addressing what happened, I guess, with Wendy and stuff, or his perspective on the whole situation. We're also now talking about Andy and Stacey because people did not like the whole hot breath thing on Watch What Happens Live. So yeah, let's talk about that. But yeah, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Thank you. Okay, so here's what the people had to say. Somebody said this is mean. This is incredibly mean. Another said this is mean. It would never do this to those white women. Ooh. If Stacey were smart, she would monetize this with a line of fresh breath mints. Absolutely. I think that is incredible advice. Make some lemons or make some lemonade out of lemons. Not me about to say make some lemons out of lemonade. Make some lemonade out of lemons, honey. Absolutely agree. I feel like if people are mocking you for something, you might as well monetize it. Why not? Like, do it, girl. Get your money. Another person said this is ridiculous. Like, let's call out Stacey for her lies, not her breath. Please be for real. Yes. And I think like for me, I just think it's childish. I do think like it's turning into a circus if every episode what we're talking about is the breath. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when you're around someone who has hot breath, it can be annoying, especially if they like to be close and they don't understand personal space. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, like can we stop talking about it every episode? First episode, we had conversations about it. Now, second episode, we're still talking about the breath. It's like, when is this whole conversation about the breath going to end? And I hope that we're not spending the whole season talking about freaking Stacey's breath. Child, he wouldn't do that to Ashley or anyone lighter. He's a part of the problem. This is disgusting. They would have never done this to Romana, who, ooh, does she? Oh my gosh. I do not know what that woman does. I would hope that that is not true. But if that is true, and they have not mocked her, definitely not the same standards. Someone said that this is very mean, weird, and ugly. That's a stark difference between there's a stark difference between the way he behaves with majority black and white cast of the franchises. Mm. I've heard that being said a lot of times. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard people say that a lot. I don't necessarily know if that is the truth, only because I haven't really followed a lot of like the white shows, so I don't know what they be doing over there. The white Bravo shows. But maybe some of y'all watch. Um, but yeah, and I'm not like a watcher of like Watch What Happens Live, so I don't really know if I have sort of comments on that. It's more the Watch What Happens Live that I watch are usually of like specific people. So like when the Real Housewives of Atlanta girls, maybe not even consistently. So maybe if something I heard that something came up on one of these blogs or whatever, then I'll be like, all right, let me check that one out, right? But I don't actively watch, so I wouldn't know, excuse me, if there's a difference between the way he treats the majority black cast versus the white cast franchises. But for those of you who watch the all white cast franchises, please let us know if that is correct, because I do not watch none of the shows, so I don't know. Okay, this whole bad breath angle storyline on the show is uncalled for. Yeah, like I understand saying it once, giving the lady some breath mints or whatever, and then now moving forward, she knows, right? And I suspect like they probably film for hours. So sometimes if you ain't eating all day, maybe your breath is a little hot. So maybe that's what it is, right? So I feel like a little bit of empathy for the woman. Um, you know, once is enough. There's no need for like constant beating of the woman. You know, I will say that. There's no need constantly beating up somebody about something over and over again. That's the bit I don't like. I don't particularly think like it's that big of a deal to bring it up and be like, okay, girl, your breath, you need a mint. But I think constantly bringing it up every single episode, I find that to be overkill for me. I think that's just unnecessary. So yeah, I would say that is overkill. But I will say like, yeah, we don't want a storyline about bad breath. Like, if you guys run out storylines, at least that would be my perspective. Because yeah, it's a little odd. Um, yeah, let's not make a storyline out of this lady's breath. But yeah, please bring out the men's line, especially because capitalize on it, and people will support Stacey for all Stacey shenanigans. People love them some Stacey. I will say that for all of the shenanigans, they still love them some Stacey. So I just think, yeah, capitalize on that. It's interesting how Andy treats the Potomac and Atlanta girls. Typical. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say that, but you guys can read it for yourself. This is actually some of the worst bullying I've seen on Bravo lately. This has to count as workplace bullying. Nini was right about him. We know what you are. Oh. You will never make me hate Andy the way I've seen him shade every person in Bravo Nation. Bye. Okay, girl. Let's see. Okay, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? Do you think that Andy should have never used that image of Stacey in Watch What Happens Live, or do you think it's all shade? Someone said he would never do this to any of those white housewives. Adult bullying is so obnoxious. Since Ashley was a guest, maybe she should have had her answer. Which breed of screaming cat she sounds. Ugh, please don't get me started with how she sings. You just hate that she's a beautiful woman that isn't struggling. Okay, let's see what the chat is saying. Someone says perhaps her breath is really deadly. Well, they did say the breath is hot. So yeah, they did say the breath is hot. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, Yeah, I even if the breath is hot, right? Say it once, say that's enough. There's no reason for you to say it constantly. I think it's the saying it constantly that I can't stand because it low-key then feels like okay, it now feels mocking. It feels like um yeah, it feels a little bit like you're trying to bully the girl. That's the part I don't like. It's like, okay, she has hot breath. All right, cool. But it's like hot breath. Like, okay, leave the woman alone. What's with that, right? So I just think, yeah, it can get to the point where it's a little bit like, oh, please miss me with the hot breath comments constantly, right? So yeah, I will say that. Um, okay, let's see. Let's read some more comments. Someone says sensitive much. I would love to know what rock all these Stacey fans were hiding under. How the F is this a racial thing? They literally told her to her face that her breath was hot in the episode. If this whole season is about someone's breath, then I'll stop watching. Our forehead is losing all self-control. Okay. I'm not mad at this. I really definitely would not want to like have to deal with hot breath all day if that's like what we're watching all season. I would like to hope that they're not going to be giving us that nonsense all season. Once I know it's not. Andy did not say her breath was stanky, only capitalized off of what her cast said, turn it into a game. Here's the thing. What did Stacey say? Yeah, fair enough. Someone said, hell nah, these games have always been unhinged to me. I'm surprised it took this long for people to say anything. Absolutely. This is a thing. The games have always been unhinged. Not gonna lie. The ones that I've watched here and there, the games have always been like, girl. Have you noticed there's always some drama that comes from those games, honestly? Okay, let's see. Tommy says, I don't think they should have done that. Seems like an easy target. Tommy is caping for Stacey, and I love it. She is like, I'm a defend her. I love it. Somebody's got to. But on a serious note, though, I definitely hear you. I think, yeah, she seems like an easy target. Do you think so? Funny enough, I think she holds her own. I think Stacey holds her own. I don't really think she's an easy target as such. I think she holds her own. But then I guess maybe compared to everyone else, let me think. Nobody is really bothering Giselle this time around this season. And I guess because maybe people low-key know that Giselle has it in her and Giselle can literally become that if she needs to be. So I guess nobody's really coming for Giselle. Let me think. Ashley's obnoxious. So yeah. Who else? Kiana is still finding her footing. I don't think she knows where she belongs yet and who she's going to be on the show. So I do think it's low-key very weird for her to already be somebody that is bringing somebody onto the show, considering she herself is not even well set up in the mix herself. So I think that would be very interesting. I do get the impression also that Kiana's friend Angel definitely wants to get to know everybody. Kiana's friends wants to get to know everybody, wants to make her own decisions, want to be the one to decide, okay, I like this person, I don't like this person, as opposed to people that her friend doesn't like. So I think that would be very, very interesting to see kind of like how that pans out. I'm also thinking, who else? Tia definitely does not seem like the type. Wendy also, like, yeah. Okay, so I guess if you think about all of the cast members and castmates, yeah, you may be right. Stacey is probably an easier target than the rest of them. But I do think Stacey also holds her own. I will say for me, I like the quirky um personality and like funny lightheartedness that she brings to the show. I just wish she lied less. Like, girl, please, can we believe you? Can you sound believable? Right? Like that's what I would want for Stacey. Just sound a little bit believable. Sound like you're really an honest person who really, you're about what you say that you are about. These are the things that I would love to see out of Stacey, if I'm being honest. But I'm not sure we're gonna see that from Stacey. So for me, it's just like if we can quit the lying, let's be a little bit more honest, let's be a little bit more relatable, then I think she would be she would be long. She'll spend so many years on Real Housewives of Potomac. Um, it's just like we just need to know who you are, because we can't feel like you're a liar. We don't trust you. Remember how people at first liked Mia, but when we just kept finding out that Mia was just out here, Mia be lying, people were just tired of her and did not want to be bothered with her. And to the point where at the reunion, everyone was just like fed up of Mia, right? So I just think that Stacey needs to get it together. Like, you're not here to replace Mia as the liar of the group. Just be a little bit more honest. You know, nobody is out here. Ooh, I just got a message that my groceries will be delivered soon. Let me just have a quick look at what time. I'm just like, let me see. What time is it getting delivered? Huh. We're on our way. They would be with you. Ooh, so they'll be with me shortly, which means I might have to run soon. Let me just have a quick look and see if there's anything else that I was going to talk about. Yeah, I do think like low-key people at the moment are very, very offended. Don't get me wrong, I do think, yeah, the breath thing is a little bit, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, it's like you're saying it one too many times. The other thing I wanted to show is the upcoming sneak peek that we saw. But let me just put it.
I didn't know that you and Stacey didn't know each other. Because Stacey, I thought that you said that she was dating Chris.
So Monique Samuels is back. I'm guessing she's going to be on the next episode. Like you guys know, like I said to you guys, I missed that era of Monique on Potomac, but people love the heck out of Monique. So I would be curious to see what she brings on this season of Potomac.
That is your ex-husband, right?
Chris called me.
Ooh, okay, so my brother is getting the delivery because I just heard a knock. So don't worry. You know, let's hang.
There's two people who are a part of this who are complete liars.
Ooh. So when she says there's two people who are a part of it who are complete liars, is she also addressing, because it sounds like she's addressing her ex-husband, and then she's also addressing Stacey. Because it's like the camera panned to Stacey's face. Ooh. Okay. Sounds like she's coming with a bang. Yeah, I feel like it's just giving storyline. I feel like low-key, the people have decided that Stacey is the target this month or this season. And so, yeah, it's like Stacey can't do anything right this season. I think that the people did not like that Stacey was able to get away with lying at the reunion, allegedly. And I feel like since then, it's almost like they want to make her pay. Because it's like, okay, I'm sure like they have each lied about one or two things on the show. They've lied about something. I'm sure somebody has lied about something, right? But I feel like the way everybody is going, or the way most people are going after Stacey about it, don't get me wrong, I can't stand lying. I feel that way. But I do feel like the way they're going on about the whole lying situation, it comes across as picking on Stacey. Like Ashley was having so much venom for Stacey that I was just like, girl, where is this coming from? If you don't want to be part of, that is okay. if you don't want to be friends with her, that is fine too. But why do you seem so hella pressed about what this woman is doing? Why do you seem so pressed and so invested about her marriage, what she's doing? Even with like when she told Wendy, now don't get me wrong, I also understand when she told Wendy that she's getting back with her husband. Wendy was just looking like, what the heck? And I get it because it's like, okay, how are you getting back with your husband when last season you were out here with a new man who you allegedly hired, right? So I get it. Like, it's hard to trust somebody. And then for her to then be like, oh, we're getting back together, it's like, what in the heck is going on? And so I will not be surprised if Stacey never left that man. If she was still married to the man, never had a divorce, if none of that happened, and it was just like a scheme that they set up to come to us with the BS, I would not be surprised if that is what it was, because what it sounds like is Stacey was probably trying to get on the show for so long and thought about, how can I make myself interesting? So I'm still married, but I'm seeing somebody, but then we're not doing anything. So, like, if I go back to my ex, they can't be like, oh, you slept with this man, So that's what it feels like. It feels like a setup, some sort of arrangement that was concocted to introduce her to us. And it just feels very much like, it feels very produced. Like Stacey is at home with her pen and paper and her team of people thinking, ooh, what are we giving them this season? Okay, let's make that up. Okay, cool. And then she's gonna play the little dainty, dainty girl who is a bit of a blonde, and I find that it works a lot in these sorts of shows. Like, people love a dainty damsel in distress, low key. And I feel like she played into that. People hated the way she was treated by TJ. And so naturally, people became very protective of her. So even when they found out that she allegedly lied about it, they still didn't want to believe that she lied about it. And then since then, it feels very much like Stacey has been a protected person on the show, from the perspective of the viewers. Now, of course, the cast, if you notice, I personally always feel that the cast tend to go after the person who is the fan favorite, because everybody is almost like indirectly they're trying to come for that spot. And I think people know and remember that Stacey was a fan favorite from last season. And so they're like, we are coming against and breaking that, because Loki, I don't feel like they feel like she deserves it. And so everything that is being done is just to try to pull her down a peg or two. In my opinion, at least that's the vibe that I'm getting from the whole thing. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I would say, like, see what Monique does when she comes on. I suspect we're gonna get next episode of her. Hopefully good energy. I know Wendy, was it Wendy that said that Monique came and it was lighthearted and good spirit and all of that. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But on that note, thank you so much for hanging with me tonight. Thank you to my beautiful, beautiful mod, Tommy. Thank you to LM. Thank you to AA. Thank you to EY. Thank you to Andrea. Thank you to LaDon. Thank you to, who else did I miss? Thank you to Linnell. And thank you to everyone that was in the chat listening. Thanks to everyone who hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys came up, showed up, and showed out. And if you are one of the people in the replay gang, thank you for listening. Please hit that like button. And yeah, make sure you also let us know your thoughts in the chat. We'd love to hear what you guys think and continue the conversation. So I am going to be live tomorrow. To be honest, like, yeah, I am going to be live tomorrow unless something drastic happens. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. Um, and but yeah, I am going to be live tomorrow. I'm planning to go live tomorrow for you guys twice tomorrow. So make sure you turn on your notifications. I'm thinking of coming live for you guys in the morning and also at a similar time that we started today's live as well. So please make sure you like turn on your notifications and at least just stay tuned. Also, guys, just to give you some context for one of the shows we're doing tomorrow, we'll be talking about Braxton family values. So make sure you guys watch it. I will also do my due diligence by watching it myself. But I'll watch that tomorrow so we can also talk about it. Let's also watch Bell Collective as well so we can kiki and talk about that as well. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, maybe you guys watch it before tomorrow or watch it earlier tomorrow. I'm not sure which one I'm doing first. Maybe I'll do Bell Collective first in the morning. And do Braxton later in the evening so we can also talk about like whatever hot topics come up tomorrow evening as well. I'm just thinking, was there anything else? Oh, shout out to my members. Thank you so much for your support. And for those who have not joined to become members, please join to be a member as a way to support the channel. And also, I need to get on track with a few more interesting stuff for the members. Sorry, guys, I'm going to get on that, you know, for you guys. But yeah, thank you all so much. Yes, Tommy is saying this was such a fun live. Honestly, I've enjoyed it, and I've kind of been saying to myself, like, look, yeah, I love coming on lives. Like, and to think that before, at some point, when I started YouTube, I never used to do lives at all for a long time. I only started doing lives recently, and yeah, maybe when I say recently, I'll say maybe like a year ago, but I think I only actively started doing lives like consistently, maybe like a month ago or something, maybe even less. But thank you for like just showing up. Because sometimes I think with lives, I always be wondering like, are people going to show up? What if people are like, oh, what she's saying? What if I don't have enough things to say? What if I get tired of talking? You know, like you just sometimes you just wonder, right? Like, oh, what is there to talk about? Would I have enough to say? Would it be a drag? And you know, like for me, just as a person, like I get bored easily as a person, right? And so I always be wondering, like, yo, am I catching people's attention or am I too monotone and stuff? So that's why I look here, I'd be like, ooh, do I want to do lives? But thank you so much for hanging with me. You guys have spent 2 hours with me and I really appreciate it. So yeah, guys, let me sort out some things and let me go home and I am home. This is what I mean when I say I'm tired. Let me get my ish together and go to bed. I want to try to wake up early for the gym and not be like there at the gym later in the day wondering how I got here. So anyways, on that note, thank you, my lovelies. I love you all. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to the members always for your support. For those who want to join to be members, I believe is it $1.99 or $2.99? So feel free to join the membership. You know, super chats and super stickers are welcome. All that good stuff as usual. Thank you so much. On that note, everyone, have a wonderful evening, afternoon. And if you guys are still working, my heart is with you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. I love you all. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for coming up as well. Good evening, everyone. Bye.